Hey everyone, and welcome to the AI Amigos show. I'm here with my good friend Jin Chao, and welcome for those that are there. Hey Jin Chao, how's it going over there up in Donegal?
Good, good. Nice
Sunny?
and sunny.
It's nice and sunny here in Dublin. I don't know if it's sunny over there.
It's nice and sunny here too, just like Spain.
You got Spain and Donegal. There you go.
There you
So, so we got a lot to cover this week, Jin Chao. But before we get into all of that, remember that we are sponsored by Tequila AI. And remember, we did a demo last week on how to use um, the chatbot. And so, any of you guys need AI chatbot, you need to contact them, good people. And it just goes, it's no code, right, Jin Chao? No code, just goes
go.
straight into your WordPress. So, have a look at that, everyone.
You need to do two things. You need to have documentation from our show, right? What
Yeah.
you want the chatbot to talk about. And two, you need to have a one finger to press add. That's it.
You don't need the money? Well,
But
maybe not.
we give out for free. You can try it out
Okay.
every month. The lowest tier is free for you
Oh,
get
that's right.
five
That's
yeah
right.
you get
Yeah.
$5 credits, which
Okay.
we they calculate if you are a very small website, you can run it for the whole month, no problem.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for that. So this week we have two completely different features for AI, and they happen simultaneously, Jin Chao.
Yeah.
So looking here and in the West, as this is what we're looking at it too, and it's not, we're not, we got West and East here, so we're not, it's not a debate about that, but it's just what's happening in the world. We don't pick sides, we're just reporting on it and talking about it. But Anthropic built its most capable model ever. And I wonder, Jin Chao, is it real or is it just hype? Don't know. Mythos, and they lock it in a vault. And then in the East, China, DeepSeek dropped the world's largest open source model for a tenth of the price, built
Mhm.
on Chinese chips. And and then we're going to end the show with talking a little bit. Well, with the third topic is there is China blocked the $2 billion U.S. acquisition of one of its AI companies, and
Yeah.
OpenAI quietly negotiated or renegotiated its entire relationship with Microsoft, and that's a big story because it was talking about suing and things like that. And I think Elon Musk was on the stand yesterday as well,
Yeah.
so that was a big one there. So, and then as well as allegedly, OpenAI is now building an AI phone. Like it's just completely AI. It's like AI is its
Okay.
operating system.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
From bill per month is token per month now.
Exactly. The tokens, right? So, the question this week isn't what's new in AI,
Yeah.
it's are we watching AI split into two completely separate worlds?
Yeah.
Everyone's going their own path. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. So the first thing, as I mentioned there, is Claude's Mythos, and
Mhm.
that was leaked, wasn't it, Jin Chao?
No, that's not leaked.
It
Um,
was not leaked. It was Claude code that was leaked.
yeah,
That's right.
it was their code base was leaked. So what
Yeah,
happened to this is Mythos is they think is too powerful to release to the world,
that's right.
because their security, um, uh, because they can find out this scan for the security vulnerability a lot quicker than you know than any other model. They're like a specialties. So right now, it's you have to be one of the companies. I think there's a lot of big companies. They created a project called Anthropic called a Glasswing.
Yeah, Glasswing. Yeah.
Yeah. So Anthropic give them like 200 million or 300 million token or something like that
Ooh.
to try it. But what I think about is they probably excuse my French, Anthropic probably shit themselves as, oh, this is too powerful, and
Yeah.
find you find a lot of bugs and vulnerabilities. I read something about finding a hardware vulnerability like introduced to 27 years ago that hasn't been patched. So
Yeah, well, they're talking about this 0 day, as it's called, 0 day vulnerability. So
yeah,
basically, there's no time to prepare. It just basically the vulnerability, no one saw it and
yeah,
just came in, and the AI found it, and away you go.
yeah. So this is basically what I feel like is okay. Over the sea, is China gonna catch up for
Yeah.
sure? So let me give you this model, guys. You patch your shit up before I release it to the world. That's
Yeah,
basically it. I feel like.
for bad actors, right? So people come in there and
Yeah,
use it for nefarious reasons, right? So,
yeah.
so yeah,
So I think that's the project Glasswing is for, and that raises the question as well: why all the big company get it? What if you're a small company? What's your future in this, right? You don't get to try to patch your system, and yeah,
yeah.
that's the
You're
question.
not part of the Glasswing, right?
Yeah,
Consortium of companies, and that's a as we know,
are
only
the
the
big
only the
companies,
big boys.
right? They're really big company. I kind of I can't find the list. I think Nvidia is on there, and Cisco is on there. Yeah, Apple, Broadcom, CrowdStrike, Google, JP Morgan, all those Linux Foundation. You can see they're trying to patch the stuff, trying to find everything possible. Microsoft is on there as well. Yeah,
Well, I saw
Paul
there was
Otto.
a UK AI Security Institute. The UK AI Security Institute actually went and independently validated this expert level hacking at 70 tasks at 73% of the time.
Yeah,
So really, this is because there is this discussion, and is this just marketing? Do you know what I mean? Like, are they just marketing this and it's making such a big deal? Is it true? Is it real?
yeah, that's a good point as well. We don't know. I mean, but if it's real, we can treat it as real. I can see why. Because when you're ethical hacker, your hacking is not straight away. You have to spend a long time to explore the system, trying to get in, trying to find, even explore similar system within the company, and a lot of time and social tagging, all that sort of methods. And it's months of operation to put something big. This is like you put the model force on something, just like a hammer. You hammer hard enough, one day it's gonna break. You don't need to sit there, right? And look into things. Just find the hole. Let me get in. Well,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, it is this Project Glasswing, as you were saying. It is a big deal, but as you said, it's big companies, and they're trying to help patch issues, including I would see there that
mhm,
even the defense and U.S. government or governments, not just the U.S. government, but governments in general, like
yeah,
where do they have vulnerabilities to? Because you know, and from what I understand, and I could be wrong in this, and maybe you can tell me what you've heard, Jin Chao,
mhm,
that Mythos is not going to be available for the likes of you and I. It's going to be for big companies. And that because I was thinking, well, like if Mythos comes out for everybody, then you can have some bad actors that go and
yeah.
start, you know,
I don't
hack.
know, but right now they give them the access, let them test it out. I mean, it's good time to. I might looking for a part-time internship in Google or something. Let me try to use that.
Yeah,
From your background, you can find in JP Morgan, your finance background.
yeah,
Let me
yeah. With
use
my
the
alma
Mythos.
mater.
Yeah, connect to my cloud code. Let's
Well,
hack.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I see
Yeah,
like is this PR or is there a genuine concern? And that's why I was
yeah,
mentioning that
yeah.
earlier because I've seen that. But Georgia Tech professor Peter Swire, as I read here, noted that a large fraction of cybersecurity professors believes
Uh-huh.
pretty much what was expected and pretty much more of the same. But the counter argument is that 99% of unpatched vulnerability rate, the autonomous 0 day discovery is generally new territories. Like you said, 27-year-old, nobody has found it, and there's been hacks that people have found, teenagers and things like that before, where there's vulnerabilities. I remember there was one in the
Yeah,
CPU, and they had
100%.
to go and fix that.
100%. I mean, like, we might see a new job title now, from vibe coding to vibe hacking. You know,
Mhm.
um, From I can see why, but from the very finance level, right? We know it's using mainframe COBOL. Like when you're a developer, real developer, you get into the job, very few chances you can write something completely new. You just add on, patch on, add on, patch on. And a good example
Legacy code, yeah.
is COBOL, because it's not object-oriented language. It's basically sheets of code just in your main function, right? Just
Yeah.
so it's a big spaghetti code. For human to understand it and trace every line, I think AI definitely knows what does it say better. It goes here, it goes there, it goes all different where.
Well, I
So
mean, there's less and less COBOL coders nowadays, and I know
yeah,
that
yeah,
I've talked to people before or seen that basically say, banking systems is one guy in a basement that knows COBOL that's holding the whole thing together.
yeah,
And so if that goes under, like, or something happens to that guy, what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
But it's
it,
okay.
it,
When I was in college, there's a whole lot of in my class know COBOL. I'm the
okay.
youngsters in the COBOL industry.
Well,
Um,
I mean, I guess the big question here, Giancello, that we can ask, in the audience, feel free to type something in if you have any questions or just say hello. But is what do you think that them withholding the model was the right move, or is it just a delay? Was it just delaying the inevitable? It's going to basically, uh, it's going to happen anyway.
yeah, it's a good point you said about like, oh, is that just kind of trying to get some attention, trying to promote the models and all that, right? That's
Some
one side.
marketing, yeah.
Yeah, marketing. The other side is basically they're probably ahead 3 or 4 months. So they give that to the large companies and say, okay, you guys can sort stuff up, and and before other country catching up, China probably in this case. So yeah, so I think there's a lot of case, and China use a lot of this solution, ask questions and answer all that, train their model, right? They've been proved before. It was OpenAI had like 30,000 accounts from China or something like that, just getting answers and questions
They
to.
question, get an answer, and basically were able to reverse engineer. They
Yeah,
interrogated it, didn't you?
yeah, yeah. That's the distillation do, right? You put it in as training data. When you ask this, you answer this. When you ask this, you answer this. And if the database is large enough, and you get better models. And so yeah, that's pretty much it.
We
So
have a question there. Should there be safeguard against hacking like other safeguards? That's a there. I mean, there should be safeguards. And I think to answer your question is that there are safeguards,
yeah,
but the problem is that these safeguards have vulnerabilities that you don't realize that you have, and that's the main point, right?
yeah.
Um,
That could be what Jim says. We're not going to get access to this model.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. But it'll get out. Yourself. So
And probably need to go to do some sort of test. Are you good hearted? You can use AI.
it's true. Well, you said there, Jin Chao, that about China. So that's a good way to transition to the next one. So DeepSeek version 4. So it's China's open source counterpunch, as it's called there.
Uh-huh.
So just 5 days ago, DeepSeek unveiled a preview of its long-awaited version 4 model, coming after more than a year after its R1 reasoning model that rocked global tech markets. I remember we were talking about this,
Mhm.
because I think they said they took like what it was like $5 million to develop it or something like this, or
Mhm.
so basically version 4 ships in two models: DeepSeek version 4 Pro,
Mhm.
which has 1.6 trillion total parameters, and version 4 Flash. So everything, it's the quick one, and that's got 284 billion parameters.
Mhm.
Both, now this is the one big one here, Jinsha, both with 1 million token context.
Oh, all right. Finally.
what do you call it? MIT license, So version 4 Pro is likely the new largest open weights model, and it's bigger than Kimi, Kimi 2.6.
Yeah,
and more than twice the size of the DeepSeek version 3.
I don't feel DeepSeek is kind of very popular in China. There's a lot of people using Kimi for sure. Everything is Kimi at the moment.
It works really well locally as well, right? You can you run that locally.
I don't know. I was just checking that eBay in China, kind of like a Chinese eBay, Taobao, right? And everything, all the little ones, it's all Kimi. You buying some sort of like a chatbot or the AI figure, you can chat to it and all that. It's all Kimi. So apparently DeepSeek is not that popular in China.
Well, it may come back. I mean, well, look at here. Version 4 Pro's input pricing is going to be 14.5 cents per million tokens. That's 7 times cheaper than GPT 5.5 or Claude's Opus 4.7.
And the big thing on this isn't that running on the Chinese chips.
Yeah, that's right. It's running on the Chinese chips. That's right. Yeah.
I think it's very controversial, right, about this stuff. But I think China is gonna catching up on those. And right now, we're not in the race of the NVIDIA cards anymore. We're in the race of what do you call it, transformers, for the electricities.
Yeah, because we need power. We need electricity to run everything in data centers.
Those large transformers
is huge.
Yeah, I was checking one of those the documentation about those, and then one of those transformers is like a double-decker bus that big, and it's only a handful of company can create them, can produce them, and then the queue to that is about 2 years. So you have one side transformers in 2 years, and the model is renewing every 6 months. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to catch up. Even you have the chips, like it doesn't matter. So what I mean by that is like China can have really shit chips, but it's the number game. You can bundle them together. Doesn't matter if they have electricity. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
All the rest of the world has to catch up. Europe and the US need to produce, loose on those policies. Let people create the power station or whatever for those uses.
Well, it is a big deal. I mean, a lot of governments, particularly U.S. and China, are looking to because the idea is, or the thinking is, whoever runs the best that technology is going to be the superpower of the world.
Yeah,
both fighting for this. But I mean, that's on one hand. But on the other hand, it's pushing to develop faster and better. And like, for example, I was talking to you earlier about this, Jinxiao, today about Claude Code and how Claude and Anthropic and OpenAI are huge because they work together and then they split. And if you put into your Claude.md and say a codex is going to review your code, it does the code much better because it's a competitive thing. And I think looking at between the U.S. and China, the competitive thing that could be driving innovation to a certain extent. But of course, I would be one that I don't want, and I would think all of our audience, nobody wants a war as such, but everyone wants to have the power and the control, right? So
nobody, all of our listeners probably not going forward. We're all gonna be what do you call it, vibe hackers very soon.
Yeah, there you go. Well, in talking about that, it says the next segment is the headline for that is China builds an AI wall. So apparently, Manus acquisition. So Meta wanted to buy them for $2 billion, and they were not approved. The deal was not approved. Chinese AI labs told to reject U.S. capital. Regulator reportedly told Moonshot and Step Fund to refuse American investment. So that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, I think in China the news was saying this guy was actually has guards around him, security
Oh,
protect him. Um, I don't know, lately, last 10 years probably. Like before, everyone wants to go out to study in the Western universities and go back have a good jobs in the government and all that, right? And last 10 years probably has been changed. If you are ever studied abroad, you lost the ability to work for the government straight away.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the spy thing and whatever, they don't hire people studied outside now. So
That's
yeah,
interesting.
if I go back to China, I'll probably be a plumber. You know,
They need plumbers. Everyone needs plumbers, you know.
I like to play water. But, but yeah, I think it's the same in US as well. A lot of those technology become kind of like a national security issue now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know for a long time in U.S. military, they're not allowed to use foreign components as such because,
Mhm.
again, as you said, it could be vulnerable, and so if you're
Mhm.
building missiles or you're building jets and whatever you're building, they cannot be built, elsewhere. Not just China, but it can't be built in Japan. It can't be built in
Yeah,
Britain. It has to only be built in the United States because it's
yeah,
viewed as a national security issue. And I,
yeah,
I I wouldn't say as far as if you went to study in a foreign university that you wouldn't be hired in the government, but it depends where in the government. I mean, you work for the post office, they're not going to care, right? But if you want to work in, somewhere where it's like NSA or whatever, I think all you had to pass all kinds of security checks. So it's not just studied abroad, but there's.
yeah.
Now, I'm saying this from what I've heard. I'm not experienced this, okay? So I just want to point that out because it could
Yeah,
be better or worse than what I'm saying.
yeah. It's very strict in China of that. I don't think it's no way you can go into like an NSA or something in China. But like just a normal government paying job, you're not gonna be able to get it because you go for exam for that. Even you go for exam if you study abroad before, you couldn't get it. Um, on the other thing, like you know, like in US, it has Palantir, right? They are using Claude and underlying. They got the biggest bill contract with US government now.
Yeah.
Uh, that's pure AI company. I wonder why they didn't get Mythos. They should be the one first to use it.
Well, remember they had a falling out. Remember some
Right.
months ago, but I think now what this is happening, they've all made up and everything is okay now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever differences they had, they've overcome them
Uh,
whatever way. So we'll see what happens. But I still think from what I've been hearing, and I cannot verify this, but I'm just saying from what I've been hearing on social media is that the U.S. has been using selecting targets in Iran using AI,
mhm.
and they're saying it's the fastest that they used to have like 2,000 people processing intel reports, but
Yeah.
now the AI does it, and they've got 20 people, and they can do the work of those 2,000 people because the AI can go through it very quickly.
Yeah.
But because it goes through it quickly, they're making mistakes as well. So like I know there was they had bombed an all girls school, I think it was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, so
I
not
wonder
not
if
not good.
I wonder if the agent that word is coming out from Palantir. For AI, just because it's really replacing agents in there. Um,
Yeah, literally, right?
mhm.
Well, talking about replacing things, according to OpenAI, they're going to build a phone.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Token phone. I don't know. I think they needed to follow through, just like Elon Musk was talking about like before. Oh, I'm gonna make a phone, and it just
Well, I mean, look
nothing.
at like Microsoft tried to build a phone and that didn't work out very well. Google did a good job of it, but equally, OpenAI wanting to build a phone, and apparently the AI is going to be the operating system. So
Mhm.
they're in discussions about this that they're going to have their OS, their own operating system. It's going to be AI agents replacing apps. So it's going to have a ChatGPT infused smart speaker, smart glasses, and smart lamp. So, would it be any good? How much is it going to cost?
Remember we talked about this. Like our daily life using computers, we're using probably 80-90% of the time using browsers. And then the browsers, Google search is being replaced with whatever console you like to use, GPT, Gemini, all those. And I do see a possibility to use that in the phone, right? So like how do you call people? Like what about scam calls?
Well, the last thing there, speaking of OpenAI, did you see there was a big court case there with them? They were trying to break free from Microsoft because they had an agreement, and they went and made a deal with AWS, and that was a big deal because I think they have a lot more processing power. But then Elon Musk was testifying. There was some stuff going on there. So, but apparently Microsoft they've agreed to. Microsoft will keep the revenue share through 2030, and both sides call this divorce. Let's just call it what it is, a win. So OpenAI is positioned to become a full platform company, not a Microsoft dependency. And I know when they first came out, Microsoft was a big supporter, and they invested lots of money into OpenAI. So now they can ship in any cloud infrastructure. I mean, in Bedrock. They had some in Bedrock, didn't they, Jinsha? But they were the older models. You never had the newer models in Bedrock.
You mean from OpenAI?
Yeah.
They have the open weight in there. Open weight models.
But you can't get like the 5.5 model on there. Yeah.
No,
where you can get Claude's 4.6, 4.7.
Yeah.
So that's the same as you have the old ones.
Yeah, the Claude allow AWS to connect right away using APIs. They're a provider on the marketplace there. So yeah.
Okay, well, with that's the end of our show. That's all we have to discuss. Remember that we are sponsored by Tequila AI. That's who is sponsoring us. So if you have any AI needs or anything like that, definitely give them a call. So I want to thank everyone for joining us and the comments that have been coming through and the participation. And I just want to say thank you very much. And we'll see you guys next week. We'll have some more interesting topics. And I think Enrique is going to be joining us again next week. So if you guys enjoyed last week, join us next week. Okay. See you guys.
Bye now. Bye-bye.